We're here with Doug and Gail Tibbits, and
Radio Sugarhouse.
Yep.
Sugarhouse.
Okay.
Here in the bottle room.
Yep. So, if you could just give me a quick walkthrough of what you do in here. Obviously, it's your bottling room. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Also, we have a storage facility over here that we store the syrup in, and we pull this out. This table's usually not in the way.
Yep.
And then we
So-
use the filter press to fill into the gas finisher,
Yep.
and then we heat it up to boil.
Okay.
We check the sugar content of the syrup, and then we filter press it into a bottling unit right here, and we fill up all the packages to make our syrup.
Okay. Now, what's that filler you got right there?
Yeah, this is a foot-operated filler. I believe CDL owns them now, but we originally bought this off Maple Guys probably 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, you just step on this pedal. If it had syrup in it, it would just come out of this little valve. And you can change the size of the valve to the size of the different containers. So if you're doing really small maple leafs, you can get a small valve, or if you're doing half gallons,
Yep.
gallon jugs, you can get a bigger valve.
Now, will it automatically shut off like when it reaches like a certain
No,
point in the jug?
no.
No, you have to do it
As
yourself.
soon as you push that, and as soon as you take your foot off the pedal,
It's done.
it stops.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
So if you're not paying attention, you'll overfill the bottle.
Yeah. So just like
Been there, done that.
same deal if you're doing it, manually with the valves. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
But what's
Cool.
really nice is it gives you hands free.
Yeah.
So you can actually, when you're filling your next bottle, you can actually put your cover on.
Yeah.
Because we'll have a table here, and I'll put the covers on, slide them to the side.
Nice.
And then I can come back here. When it's full, take my foot off, bring it over here, put another bottle in, push my foot on the pedal, put the cover on.
And keep
So
going.
you can keep going pretty quickly with this little light.
Nice.
I couldn't live without that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something we need for ours. Something like that. Either that or like a fill stop or something like that.
Yeah.
Something semi-automatic
I
or
like it.
automatic. All right. Oh, you weren't kidding. Your sugar house is down back. Oh, nice.
500 feet. All this line's coming down this year. I'm running all of it to that new green line,
Okay.
my next plan. That way I can run the ones on the other side off onto that too.
Which looks like you're not finished with that green line yet. It's
No,
still
I just put it in.
just put it in. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I've got to shift. I have the doghouse on this side. This tubing here, and there's another line up there, and that top of that hillside. This doghouse down here runs off a guzzler,
Okay.
and we're running about 250 trees over there.
Okay. So how many? Is that all your taps back here? Is that 250 trees, or you got more?
No, we have on that side over there,
Yeah.
and we have another 600-gallon tank down in the backside,
Yeah.
and that into that tank there, it feeds a little over 500 into that one.
Okay.
And then we have another 200 at the China Four Seasons Club.
Okay.
So if you get 5, 7, 8, 950, plus we have over 1,500 taps on the 60-acre grove.
Okay.
So we act, and all, if we wrap everything all up, we have about 3,000 taps.
Nice.
This year we only ran 2,200
Yeah.
because we didn't really need to make so much syrup.
Yep. To say, I heard you had an overabundance of sap this year.
I always have too much.
That's a good problem to have. That's better than not enough.
Some people would say I need to buy a bigger equipment, but I'm saying I need to have less taps.
Yeah. There does come a certain point where you just can't. You can only handle so much.
It's just Gail and I. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yep.
She runs the sugar house. I haul sap.
Yep.
Like this here is where we put this. In
Oh,
here we have a
nice.
guzzler. We put it in here, an insulated
Yeah.
box. We have
I like.
power.
Yeah.
I used to have the heat light. It works good, but I find it's just as easy to grab the guzzler at the end of
just-
the night. and
That's
take
what
it
pull it
out.
out.
I do.
Well,
And
you're
from
not that.
there it pumps in, and we have a tank on this side that we remove it now.
Yep. Well, that's cool.
At least you got a house. Mine sits on top of the tank out in the open.
Oh, this works great. And then I have a bungee cord on that side, and I hold the door open. If it's really warm, I'll just hold the door
Yeah.
open.
Yep.
But if it's
that's cool.
If it's cold, I'll keep this. If not, the heat actually running the guzzler keeps that box.
Oh, I bet.
Even in
Oh,
the coldest
yeah.
Weather. Yeah, but of course the sap ain't running if it's not warm anyways. So.
No, one damn thing up. Because I
You got a single or double on that one?
I get a single.
So I just bought my double, and I went down, hooked the thing up, and I should have known better, because it was froze. And I couldn't hit the off switch fast enough.
Oh no!
Bang crash.
Not only
Blew
that,
out both of them in
not
2
only
seconds.
that, if you heat it up though, it's still you
still gotta
every
make sure.
day at the end of the day I have these filters.
Yep.
And you've got to take this filter off and clean this filter out every day.
Yep.
So if you're going to do that and you're here anyway, you might as well just grab the pump and take it home
Yeah.
or put it in the sugar house where it's warm.
Warm and
That's a
It
good
doesn't
idea.
freeze.
I don't even run a filter on mine.
Oh, you don't? Then you'll have, it'll save you the diaphragms. You can get these right at Tractor and Supply for $20.
Oh, really?
so your sap is running through that, so that's going to keep all your ice and slush from coming into your guzzler and messing up the diaphragms.
Yes. I can get about a year out
Smooth.
of a diaphragm.
Yeah,
Every year I change my
Me too.
diaphragm.
Okay. Yeah.
So I guess the filter ain't making a difference.
No, it does, because you take things like, if you cut in some new line and you get all them little burrs of the plastic.
Oh
or whatever,
yeah.
That'll mess up your diaphragm in a heartbeat.
Also, when you drill the trees and you have that,
you got a little bit of
Wood.
wood. Yep.
if you put this on, it'll catch everything. And like you say, ice, but mostly green. To be honest with you, the mold.
Yeah.
All this line, like I say, this is all coming down.
Yep.
And this line here that runs up through there, most of the trees are up over that hill. But all those, and up on that hill, on that upper part, I'm running 3/16 too. And honestly, I hate it, but it works really good for that scenario because I have 20-25 trees on each
thing.
line.
Yep.
And it has a good natural vacuum. It does
It
work.
it
it's
does.
just very high maintenance.
Yeah.
It does work. You're exactly right. It does.
When you go up and look at the line and you see nothing come around it but air bubbles,
Yep.
you say, here we go again. And that's with 3/16, it's almost all the time.
Now, Doug, tell me what's going on here with your tiebacks on your tubing.
Oh, this is, I never run, or I won't say never, but I try not to ever run my lines around the tree.
Yep.
I always use my drops
that.
that when I cut the drops off, I change my drops out.
Yep.
When they get dirty or after 3 or 4 years,
Now that's a good use for an old drop.
I use my old drops to go around the tree.
Yep.
It'll do two things. One, if I went around a tree here, it will build ice here. It takes forever to thaw it out.
Yep.
And for two, the squirrels come up the tree and they chew this.
Yep.
The squirrels aren't going to turn their head around and chew this.
Yep. It's like a sacrificial
So-
piece of tubing, essentially.
And the sun gets on it. It runs faster, runs better.
Or if you got 3/16, that's where you're going to get a little bit of mold, crud buildup or whatever the case is.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
See, I find
So
on
if
mine.
anytime you can keep your lateral line off the tree,
Yep.
you're
I just
better
started
off.
doing that 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. So see, I find that like if my tubing went around the tree, like in this spot here, I don't think it's a squirrel, but I don't know if it's a bird or what it is, but I put like
Woodpecker.
one little hole poked in,
Woodpecker. Oh, yeah, woodpecker.
and then I'm hearing. Sometimes I'll hear like a little whistle, and I'm going, "What is going on?" And then other times it's like, "Oh yeah, there's a little black bug stuck in the hole."
What's for me, I can hear a leak, but my wife can't.
Yep.
And she'll even admit, you walk out, I can hear a leak 100 feet away. I can hear it. She can't. Her hearing can't pick up that
Yeah.
sound.
See, my father's the same way when he gets in the woods, but he worked quite a while in the paper mill for quite a few years. So.
Well, he was the dance instructor because she lived on music.
Oh yeah.
But same with this here. This is an
That holds
line
your.
T.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can loosen the line up or tighten it right
With a nice long drop, so you can get to the tree. You can get anywhere on that tree.
Most often I'll run the ring on the other side of it,
Yep.
but I don't like these to be too close to the tree and be touching the tree for
Yep.
bug reasons.
Yep.
I usually take the spouts off, but I left these spouts on because I'm redoing all this lines
Anyways. Yep. Well, that makes sense. I like it. Nice looking woods. Looks like you've been slowly thinning it out.
Well, that's storm damage, a lot of that. this year.
Yep.
You can see where the roots got ripped up on that
Oh, on that
hemlock.
hemlock.
I lost a couple big maples up there. That's powerful.
You got hemlock in here. Now, does that mean you've got problems with porcupines?
I do have porcupines.
That's what I've heard is a problem. Every time you got hemlock, you'll have porcupines.
Yeah, but what's really nice, on my big grove, we cut out all the hemlock.
Yep.
And we left the hemlocks that are like 20 feet high, the small growth hemlock,
Yep.
there. So when the porcupines go up the hemlock, you can see where the porcupine is.
Ha 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 ha.
Oh, not bad. From
I
here,
don't-
I bring my truck. I have a 1-ton,
Yep.
and I bring it up here, and this is where I offload this line here,
Okay.
and I pump it down into the milk tank in behind the sugar house.
Oh, I like it. I like the cute little sugar house tucked right back in the whole bunch of woods here. This is nice. So you must pump up from down
the
below.
blue lines, yeah, the blue
Okay.
line is the line that I pump.
Okay.
That section right there, and 500 plus taps off on that section.
Okay.
We didn't tap this year.
Yep. Well, that's cool. Now, are you running any monitoring system in the woods at all?
Not on this woods.
No.
I just use the gauges.
Yep.
At
Well, it's
Martin Woods,
nice and close anyways
yeah,
to the house.
but over in Martin Woods at our big grove, we use sets by,
Okay. Nice.
which is awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd like to. But everything I do is off generator. Yeah, whole grove over there.
That makes it hard
Is it?
when you're on
Can you remotely
generator.
Start that or no? No, you can't.
I could, but I don't. I
Not
wouldn't.
worth it. Yeah.
You can't just remotely start a generator and think you're going to sit home and see everything going on.
No, because you're
When
not.
you
gonna.
go over there to start the generator, you
There's
want to make
always
sure the
something.
generator starts.
Yeah, you want to make sure you got oil and everything's
Yep.
up to snuff.
Right?
Yep.
You got to have fuel. You got to have the valves closed. You've got to.
Yep.
And then when you first start, over there, I have an air blow pump
Yep.
and electric releaser. And the electric releaser pumps the sap up into the tank, the 1,640 gallon tank.
Mhm.
And it runs off a 15 kW diesel generator. But when you first start it up in the morning, you'll get a big flow of sap coming into my pump house. And if I'm not there to monitor that releaser, it'll flood right over the top of the
Okay.
releaser. Of course, then it goes into the moisture trap, it shuts the pump down.
Yeah, then you got
Yep.
a big mess.
Spits the mess out over the floor, and then it fires back up, and then it does the thing over and over and
Yeah.
over until it feeds smoothly.
Yep.
I like to be there.
Yep.
I
don't
open up
blame
my
you.
valves just part way, and I just let it run a little while. I go out and I'll check the woods and play around a little bit.
Now, Doug, have you thought about getting a second pump or a second releaser with a pump in it so it can keep up with it? Or can you put a second pump in that electric releaser so that it could keep up?
I would have to get another electric,
Another electric releaser.
one that's bigger that can handle more volume. But
Okay.
I do have a lot of flow sometimes
Yeah.
coming in the morning.
Because I've got that same problem with my big pump house, and that was how we fixed it, was putting a second releaser in. So if the first one flooded, it would go to the second one, and then between the two of the pumps, it would keep up with that
Yeah.
flow first thing in the morning.
I could actually put another releaser behind the first releaser too, but then again, it's money,
Yeah.
you know,
How many taps was that, you said?
a little over 1,500.
A little over 1,500. yeah.
1 1/4 inch wet and dry line.
Yeah. How big is that pump inside that releaser?
Half horse.
Half horse. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Works great,
Yeah.
but you have to sit with it and feather it for a little while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's those early morning releases that all the ice and slush and everything froze up overnight, and
yeah. And I don't have on that section coming into the sugar house over there, I don't have any main lines coming into my master line.
okay.
I don't have any main lines for about 1,000 feet probably up.
Okay.
And the other regular 1-inch main lines come in directly into the pump, so it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But I do have that amount of sap in that line, so once that's cleared out, then I'm usually okay for the day.
Nice. Nice.
So I have to sit with it a little bit. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, from there it goes into the milk tank out back.
Okay.
And from that part, let's go this way. We'll step in and check out the RO.
Aha. So what are you running for an RO?
Dominion and Grimm.
Okay.
Pretty much all my equipment is Dominion and Grimm.
Dominion Grim.
It is. Because it's anything. If this breaks down, if I have a problem, he's going to take care of it.
Yeah.
And I know he will.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
So how many gallons an hour is this thing?
This one here is a 400 plus.
Okay.
It runs at, honestly, about 240 to 260 gallons an hour. And it gives me 70 gallons of concentrate per hour.
Okay.
At 10%.
At 10%.
So this year I'm
That's-
actually putting on, I've already got it on order. Sean's getting me another membrane for this. I don't need any more speed, but what I want is more sugar content. I want to push my sugar up to 14.
Yeah.
So to do that, I need another membrane.
Yeah.
So what I do here is I run it from the milk tank. It comes through here.
Yeah.
Then I can transfer it from up on this side. I can push the concentrate up above to my feed tank
Okay.
or I can send it out back here into a 300 gallon tank, stainless steel tank that I have in the back.
Okay.
I leave it out there because it keeps it cool.
Nice.
My evaporator runs at 70 gallons an hour.
Okay.
It boils off 70 gallons an hour. I set this 70 gallons an hour, 10%.
Yeah.
So when I have sap and this is running, my evaporator's running, it all goes
Pretty even, yeah.
even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is this technically an air blow machine?
This is,
don't
this
think
is
so.
where it
No,
is now.
okay.
So this is oil fired, we went from wood to oil fired, we just. it was
Because Dominion and Grimm a lot of times sold it, they would distribute air blow.
Because we don't,
And that's basically what mine is.
This is actually, I believe this is made from Dominion and Grimm, but if
Okay.
yours is, Dominion and Grimm might have been tied in with Airblow when they first started them.
Yeah. Well, I had mine,
exactly, we can turn, and we can turn
I don't know, 16, 18 years.
in the middle of the, you know.
Mine's it's a little small one. Basically, they called it an 80. It was supposed to be like 80 gallons an hour.
Okay.
But I told them, I says, from the get-go, I says, you're underrating this thing. It'll push 100, 110, 120 all day long. And then they finally decided, I think they called it a 120, 125, something like that,
Wow.
eventually.
Yep.
And
My first one was a liter Micro 2.
yeah,
That's what I
Okay.
learned on.
yeah.
Those things, I liked it. It was really good, but you know, it was slow.
Yeah. Wouldn't keep
They're
up for
really, I mean, they're great for a backyard.
Let's see.
operation.
Were you running a Micro 2 on all these taps? Like close to 3,000
No.
taps? Oh, let's say,
This
because
is
that
before
one.
I got
yeah.
my 68.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I used to just tap this and
Oh, okay.
the China Four Seasons Club.
Yeah.
So I was running 500 or 600 taps off of Micro 2.
Okay.
And that was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
it would do 120 gallons an hour, maybe, for
Yeah.
flow. It
And-
said it was a 250, but it really only did.
And the reason why I got that one was because they had an expansion kit that was basically bolt on, plug and play.
Well,
and
that's
go.
what this is
Yeah.
too. It's got the other
So-
spot already for it. This is already set
So
up.
when actually,
You know what, some of the shows that they watch on TV are very burning shows, and they're really cool. There's none over there. Okay,
You seen that?
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
those are fantastic.
pretty much new, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
We will not live. When it's red, it means the tank is empty. So the tank is empty.
Tank is empty.
But when,
I like it.
when we fill the tank up, you'll see the blue coming right up. When it gets down to about here, it starts
that's
to
for when
flash
somebody's
at you.
not paying attention.
So, as I say, this Sugarhouse is pretty much all automated. As long as I keep sap in the back tank, it goes through the RO. This runs at the same speed as the RO.
Yep.
It's very easy to sit here on your cell phone and not pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah, it is.
So that's nice, because when that thing starts flashing red, you know.
You know
You've
that.
got to get more sap in.
Yep. Well, it's not like your head tank is, real easy to climb up to and check it out anyway.
Right.
So, yeah.
Exactly. And
That's
We do have.
that's cool.
We have a hose on the side of the head tank up
Yep.
there too. What I do is I'll fill that up halfway,
Okay, yeah.
and I'll
Nice
set
hose.
this halfway on that tank right here,
She's telling
and
us a story.
then from then on, if this runs, it'll pin it right there. I pin it right there, so it don't never change.
Yeah.
This tank here, I just use. This here is just the permeate. the
Permeate water?
Just water.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
So we save 800 gallons of water to wash out the RO and wash out stuff.
Cool.
Of course, we get about 50 gallons of hot water off the steam.
Of that, yeah. That's what ours is. A lot of steam water.
This line over here is for the drain. So if I'm cleaning out I drain out
Oh,
the.
I like it.
Yeah, I drain out all the syrup out of that flue pan
Yep.
into my other tank.
Yep.
And then I'll plug this onto here, open up the valve, and it goes right to my drain, so I can drain out my tank and flush it out.
Yep.
Shut it back off, and then I can put the syrup back in.
Yep. I like it.
It's pretty convenient.
That is very convenient. I like that. That's smooth.
Yeah.
Can we get one for our house?
What's that? The that thing?
Little thing.
Yes, that would be a lot easier to see because.
Instead of guessing the tank, at this point we have this much time left.
Yep.
What's really nice is you can put it anywhere you want it too. So if you're sitting here, you want it. I think honestly it would have been better if I had it on that wall there. But if you're sitting here,
Oh, because you're sitting there.
yeah, if it was over there, it'd probably be a better spot.
Yep.
If you notice, I do have a mirror up there. So if I'm sitting here and have the light over there, the mirror, I can look and see my syrup pan. So if there's any foam issues, I can see.
Oh.
my syrup pan.
Oh, I like that. You can see it.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
it's right there. Yeah. You can have your coffee over here.
Smooth. Smooth.
Whatever you choose.
And being oil fired, I'll tell you, it's so easy.
I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
it is.
It's
I was gonna
so
say, I don't have time to sit down.
no.
Just say ours is oil fired, so yeah, it's so nice. You know, when something goes wrong, it starts to overboil in the back end or
wrong,
something. Just reach over and
Turn the switch off.
hit that switch.
Of course, Gail will shut it off if something's going wrong or if there's no sap or
Yep.
something. She'll call me out and I'll come on over and I'll fix it and we'll start it back up again
Yep.
and you're back off running. Yeah.
All right, Doug, explain to me what you did here with your winch and pulley system here, because
Oh, yeah.
that is cool. I need to do
just the
something like that with
cables
mine.
Running up and running just a Harbor Freight winch
Okay, so
on
you
the
got
other
'em.
side.
Attached to the other side.
Yeah.
Home for Doug.
I think it was home.
That goes to the pulley,
Yeah.
cable, pulley, and then back to your
Yeah.
winch.
Yeah.
I like it.
I found if you run it one over and not double it around,
Yep.
it doesn't really, that little winch doesn't really have a lot of power,
Yep.
and it struggled a little bit pulling the hood and the stacks up through, the steam stacks up through.
Oh yeah, because there's a lot of weight there with all the
There's quite a
stack.
bit of weight there, so
Yep.
once I doubled it around,
Yep.
it's no problem.
How big is that?
I think
The
that's
winch?
a 400 pounds, so you double it and it's like
Okay.
8. When you put the cables up, you've got to get it just right so it's centered, so when it goes up, it doesn't.
Yep.
That one's centered. I just push that up and it goes
Yeah.
right up through. It lifts it up about 16.
Well, and I like how you got it through the eye hook there, so that it can actually self-center itself.
Yeah.
If it happens to get out of balance.
Yeah,
for whatever
I think
reason.
the biggest thing is getting the hooks up on the end with the pulleys. on
Oh
it,
yeah.
making
Yeah.
sure those are centered. And you think you put them right dead center, it's going to be right. But once you put the weight to it, it changes the angle of it.
Yep.
So you have to actually put them off one side a little bit to get them. You got to do it a few times before you figure out how to get it right.
Yep. I need to do that with mine, but I'm gonna need a really big winch.
Yeah, you probably put a different.
Nozzle on it or something.
Yeah.
But it burns 5 gallons an hour.
That's not bad.
And it'll make you 8 gallons an hour of syrup.
So you're under a gallon of oil to a gallon of syrup. Then.
Yeah, it takes me about 3/4 of a gallon of oil to
Okay.
make a gallon of syrup.
Yeah.
My goal is to be down about half a gallon with a new membrane.
Yep.
In
So
the
you can up your
RO.
concentrate.
I'll
Pretty
be
good
able to
idea,
make
too,
it
when you
half.
fall asleep, you start dinging those things.
I don't think they'll be there when you're.
No, probably not, but that's not a bad idea.
There's a, I think mine, I think we're like point 0.39 or 0.4, something like that, 0.43, something like that,
Yeah.
gallons of oil
What
to
are
a
you
gallon
running?
of.
About 20%.
No, we're anywhere between 12 and 16, depending on the day.
In my ballpark.
Yeah.
If I can get it under a half a gallon,
Oh, that's like
You know,
perfect. I don't think I've ever heard anything below half a gallon. I mean, unless you're really cranking it, but you know, who wants to make syrup that's at that fast? You want to get some kind of flavor in it. It's got to boil for some kind of
I've
time.
been making syrup for long enough to know that I don't want this thing rip roaring. I
Yeah.
want it steady.
Steady. Yeah.
I think you get it. I hear, oh, you get it more boiling, you get a better flavor. I do not believe that.
Now, see, mine, if I get up to 20 bricks, that's about max. I get up to like 22 bricks, and it's crazy. You're basically babysitting the back pan on that back float, trying to keep it from burning too low.
Yeah. And
Because it's flying
at the
through
end
at
of
that
the year,
point.
this pan right here, I mean, I have so much sugar sand at the end of the year.
Yeah.
In my dark syrup, we have to change this thing off about every 15 or 20 gallons of
Yeah.
syrup.
Now, do you have spare pans that you throw on so you can keep
We
going?
have two.
Nice.
Yeah. So what we do is we change this one out. Every time we make a barrel or so, when this starts to foam up,
Yeah.
we'll change this one out, and then at the end of the day, we change them both.
Nice.
And start the next day fresh. This one here will. I don't have a sugar sand problem, but it'll build up some niter.
Yeah.
Where this one's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I find most of my sugar sand is in that front where you're drawing
this one
off.
right here. I think it's where it's kind of waiting too for the drawer. And
Yeah,
just
it just kind of sits
builds
there. Yeah.
And this one I could probably get 2 days out of it, but at the end of the day, when I'm changing this one, I might as well change that one too.
So you're up.
fresh.
You're always drawing off this side.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the front. Yeah, that's the way mine is. It's always the same side, isn't always in the front.
We just draw off under this beer,
Oh, into that. Yep.
and then we
Sure.
from there, then we run it through the filter press side of the pump side
Yep.
into the gas finisher,
Yep.
unfiltered, and then if I'm doing a 40-gallon barrel, I'll leave it out there,
Yep.
and I'll fill this up 10 gallons, and that one's 30 gallons more, and then I can fill a 40. If
Okay.
I'm just doing 15s, I can usually just run them through
Run that.
this. Or if Gail's here, sometimes you'll just fill them into that, and then at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I'll just run them through
Run
the
'em
filter press and fill the barrels for her.
Nice.
Generally, we make 3 or 4 barrels of syrup a day, the 15-gallon barrels.
Yep. Nice. Cool.
Very nice.
Mirror. I like that mirror. I'm gonna have to find myself a mirror. So I
My
can
friend
see
was
that.
a bus driver.
I was just
That's-
looks like a bus
That's
here.
nice.
Centered him.
Yeah.
And that didn't work. I centered him, and the whole hood kicked right off.
Oh yeah.
Getting anxious? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're coming.
Great.
Nice. I think you've got like the fanciest Sugarhouse doors in the state right there. That's cool.
Yeah, mahogany. Isn't that nice?
Wow. So Doug, how many years have you been doing this?
Here,
Yeah.
since 2003.
Okay.
I did it as a child in Durham.
Okay.
I've done it pretty much all my life. But to be modern, more modern like this with the ROs and stuff, about 15 years really of
Oh, nice. So about,
being more.
about the time I got into it.
Yep. Yeah, when we first started doing it, we did it in an ice shack. We take it off China Lake and we bring the ice shack in, and that was our first sugar house, an ice shack. Had the seats, had the vent, had the heat.
Perfect.
All you needed was just a propane burner.
Yep.
Me and the kids would sit in the ice shack, boil syrup
Wow.
until the kids got bored. And I was sitting in the ice shack boiling syrup.
Uh-huh. All by your lonesome. Bring a good book, I guess.
Yeah, this is so when I first moved here, you couldn't walk through these woods. It was so thick.
Really?
Mostly hemlock.
Yeah.
A lot of pine, big pine.
Yeah. Well, the maple trees that are here that are grown up kind of in between them all look nice. They got good crowns on them. Well, it's the next day, everybody. Made it back home about 1 in the morning last night after all that tour. So, fairly eventful actually, because we saw 5 deer, 5 moose, 2 foxes, an owl, a raccoon, and I don't remember if there was something else, but yeah, so it was 1 moose that we should have had the video camera on because it was doing all kinds of craziness in the middle of the road and wouldn't get out of the road, and it was a yearling. I think it just got kicked away from its mom because mom was probably getting ready to calf. So it had no idea what it was doing. It was lost. And yeah, it was funny, but it was in the middle of the road and we wanted to get home. And so we're crawling up 201 at 5 miles an hour. It was like, okay, pal, it's late at night. We want to go home and go to bed. But anywho, big thank you to Doug and Gail for hosting everybody last night. And hopefully we'll see you all in the next video. And please leave us a comment. We like hearing from you all. I'm like a kid in a candy shop when I see notification come in. We got a comment. And have to rush over to the computer and go give you guys a reply. So if you could, that'd be great. Tell us how you like the videos, the fun stuff you learned about them or learned in them. And then yeah, you can always give us a like and a subscribe. Until next time, catch you later. I need to go get the truck prepped for farmer's market this afternoon. And then again tomorrow morning. Catch you all later.